First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone and rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. Today is going to be uh, some understanding of Jeremiah 1, and I'm going to make this a series. Pretty much, I'm going to break Jeremiah, the first chapter, up in sections of videos, and I'll make a playlist on my page to where you can watch each video and put all the sections together and learn Jeremiah, the first chapter, in a whole. And I may do that with the entire chapter if the Spirit allows. So we'll see how that goes. I may jump around in the book. It's not to say I might go Jeremiah 1, 2, 3, 4. I could go from Jeremiah, the first chapter, finish this out. Spirit might jump on me to do Jeremiah 25, But at the end of the day, I'm going to try to get into a lot of Jeremiah. Lord willing. I mean, that's the spirit that has been put on me. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into Jeremiah 1, and I'm only going to go through the first 3 verses to get the foundation of the chapter and technically of the book. All right, because we have to understand Jeremiah's time frame, when he was prophesying, why he was prophesying during that time, and who he was prophesying to. Now, the scholars call Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, like a major or a macro, if that's the right word, a prophetic book. You have minor and major, like they'll consider like a minor prophetic book, like as in size-wise, like an Obadiah or something like that, even though it packs a big punch. That book does. So like, yeah. Even though it packs a big punch. Now, just to start off now, because I'm gonna go ahead and get started to give some dates. Book of Jeremiah started about like 586 to 539 BC, and that is during around about the time where Nebuchadnezzar and them and the Chaldeans started to come into play. I know. Let's see. He's like 580. Yeah. So 586. He was probably before that too. A little before that, I want to say. I do want to say. I don't think it could have been more so 600 BC when Jeremiah really came on the scene as a prophet. I'm not saying when he was born or anything of that nature, but like as a prophet. I want to say about like 609 BC, and we're going to get into that. So let's just say from 609 BC to about we'll go about to 530s, something like that. We'll go to that. Okay, which goes well into, you know, the Persian Empire afterwards, So Jeremiah 1:1, it says the words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin. So now, just off of Jeremiah 1:1, what understanding do we get? That he is a Benjamite, okay? And he came from Anathoth, which was a suburb in the land of Benjamin, which was under the children of Aaron. And you can read about that here in Joshua, the 21st chapter. So this is where the Levites split up the cities, you could say, and made suburbs for each particular tribe. I'm going to start at verse 4. Joshua 21 and verse 4 says, "And the lot came out of the families of the Kohathites and the children of Aaron, the priests, which were of the Levites, had by lot out of the tribe of Judah, and out of the tribe of Simeon, and out of the tribe of Benjamin, 13 cities. So in those 13 cities, one of those cities is where Jeremiah came from. Okay, so let's just scroll down. Let's start at verse 13. It says, thus they gave the children, because let me say this too, so you don't get it mixed up or anything. Well, it's the children. It says the children of Aaron. Does not mean he's a Levite. This was just given, I guess, in that sect to the priest of Aaron. So now let's make some understanding of that, because the children of Aaron, the priest, they got those 13 cities of those three tribes: Judah, Benjamin, and Simeon. Okay, and then you go to verse 5, and it says, "In the rest of the children of Kohath had by lot of the families of Ephraim, Dan, and Manasseh." So those are the 10 cities. I'm not reading it verbatim. They had 10 cities. So you had the children of Aaron, then you had the children of Kohath, who Aaron had 13, Kohath had 10. Then you go to Gershon, and I'm skimming through this. Y'all can read this yourselves. You know, he had Issachar, Naphtali, okay, yeah, and he had half a tribe of Manasseh as well, making 13 cities, as long as with Asher. And then you had the children of, so you see what I'm saying? Just because it was, in a sense, ran by this, doesn't mean he was a Levite. He was a Benjamin. He was a Benjamite. Okay? So scrolling down to verse 13, it says, "Thus they gave to the children of Aaron, the priest, Hebron with her suburbs, to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Libnah with her suburbs." So let's skip down to Jeremiah's city, Anathoth, with her suburbs, and Almon with her suburbs, 4 cities. Now when you read up, it says, "And out of the tribe of Benjamin, Gibeon with her suburbs, Geba with her suburbs, Anathoth with her suburbs." So that's out of the tribe of Benjamin. These were the suburbs of the cities that were located in that particular area. Now Anathoth, they don't know exactly what, but it was like in the lower southern part of Benjamin, okay, of the land of Benjamin, okay, and that's where Jeremiah was from. And the word Anathoth literally means like the children of Benjamin. All right, it says answers to prayers. So we got this Wikipedia also. It says the name of the Levitical cities given to the children of Aaron in the tribe of Benjamin. All right, residents were called Anathothites, if I'm saying that right. You know, so that was a Benjamite location, and that's where Jeremiah, you know, pretty much was from. So that gives you understanding of verse 1 and who Jeremiah is. And Salakia, give me a second. Who Jeremiah is and where he was from. Give me one moment, Babakar Shah. All right, Salaki, give me like 2 seconds, because there's something I want to bring. Yeah. And Jeremiah's name. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Jeremiah's name, Jeremiah, and that means Yahweh has appointed. All right, so he was appointed. Okay, It says, verse 2, it says, to whom, let's go on to verse 2 now. All right, verse 2, it says, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. So let's deal, okay? So it says, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah. Now, here's an example of a time where the word of the Lord came prophesying about Josiah. So first, because you got to understand, I'll get into that. So this is 1 Kings 13:1. It says, and behold, there came a man of the Most High out of Judah by the word of the Lord unto Bethel, and Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense, and he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord, and said, O altar, thus saith the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name. And it says, and upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee. He says, and he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign which the Lord hath spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. So that was a word that actually prophesied Josiah's coming. Now, ultimately, we're speaking about Jeremiah here. And this is why I said he probably started his stint before, the 500s. It was probably in the 600s, okay? Probably like 610, 609, something like that BC, because as I'm about to read in 2 Chronicles 35 and 25, he lamented for Josiah, okay? So he was prophesying when Josiah was king. If I can find, I should have it written down in my Bible, what year Josiah came. Yeah, Josiah reigned from 640 BC to 610 BC. All right. And of course, in like 609 BC is when Josiah ended up, passing away when he went up against Pharaoh Necho of Egypt. Okay. And, he ultimately was shot with an arrow. And that's when he passed away. Jeremiah was during his time. So you could take it, let's just say he was during the time of Josiah. So that's why it's saying that here in Jeremiah 1 and 2. It says, in the days came of Josiah, the son of Ammon of Judah, the 13th year of his reign. So during the 13th year of his reign is when Jeremiah came rolling in. So you could say in the 600 something BC is when he came rolling in. Okay. To prophesy, and the word of the Lord came upon him to prophesy. So that brings some more understanding there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this for edification purposes, because Jeremiah is mentioned in Chronicles a few times, and I'm going to get it, the couple times that it's mentioned towards the end, in chapter 35 and 36. It says, and Jeremiah lamented for Josiah, and all the singing men and singing women spake of Josiah in their lamentation to this day. Just like we're speaking about Josiah right now. He was a prominent figure. It says, and made them an ordinance in Israel, and behold, they are written in the Lamentations. Yes, because Jeremiah wrote the book of Lamentations. Salakia. All right, I take a little swig. Okay, so there's some understanding on Jeremiah 1 and 2. So now you know Jeremiah's name, how to say it in Hebrew, what his name means, Yahweh has appointed, who he is the son of, who his father is, where he comes from, okay? So the city he lived, all right, or where he was from, the suburb he was from, and what tribe he's from, all right? Going on to verse 2, you understand the time frame of where he became, the word of the Lord came to him and established him as a prophet, Okay, because let's be real. So of course we all walk in the lot of a prophet, right? So before you were in this truth or whatever you were doing, you were already deemed a prophet. It's just when the Lord decided to put the word of the Lord on you. Okay, simple. When we got the truth, that would be kind of written out how this is. In that, you know, let's just say in that day, the word of the Lord came upon Jeremiah. So in my case, in that day, the word, back 10 years ago, the word of the Lord came on Kashakwala, all right, to become a prophet. The word of the Lord 3+ decades ago came upon Apostle Tahar and he became a prophet. Okay? That's what happened to Jeremiah during the time of Josiah. All right? Sometimes you got to kind of relate these things to you, but understand the time period that he was in, so you can better understand who he was talking to when he was writing these epistles, these letters, okay, or these these words, man, these scrolls. When he was writing them, he was writing them according to his time, what was going on in his time. All right, just the way he was writing it was very prophetic. All right, and a poetry and motion as well, to why it's so relatable to what we see here today. A lot of the things when he's talking about, and I'm going to get to that later in other breakdowns that I do in Jeremiah, a lot of those things that he speaks about Babylon burning, things of that nature, he's speaking about actual Babylon during that time, not America, but it's poetry in motion and it's prophetic to where it is relatable to today, and we decode it and we understand it for today. All right, just throwing that out there because I'm setting the stage. I'm not. Jeremiah, the first chapter, is setting the stage of where he was from, who he is, what his name means, what tribe he's from, and when he started prophesying. Okay, so you got to understand he's prophesying from 640 BC all the way to 586 when the temple was altered, or the destruction of Jerusalem came with the Chaldeans. That was around like 587, 586 BC with Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, I mean not Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, that's right. Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, so verse 3, and then I'm gonna stop it here. It says, and it came also in the days, okay, in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. Yes, all right. So one thing we do have to understand about Jehoiakim, so who came before him, okay, which was Jehoahaz. Sometimes I mess his name up. In which he was the son of Josiah as well. And matter of fact, let me go to 2 Chronicles 36 so I'm not speaking idly. And start at like 1. Yeah. Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king in his father's stead in Jerusalem. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months, only 3 months in Jerusalem. And the king of Egypt put him down at Jerusalem and condemned the land in 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And the king of Egypt made Eliakim, his brother, king over Judah. So when it's speaking about Jehoiakim, it's actually his first name was Eliakim. It says in Jerusalem, and he says he turned his name into Jehoiakim. And Necho, Pharaoh of Egypt, took Jehoahaz, his brother, and carried him into Egypt. All right? Yeah, because Jehoahaz was being a demon. He was being a demon, and he didn't like him in the rulership. Simple. He's probably rebelling against him. He's a little 23-year-old guy, head on strong, and probably, move. Okay. All right. So going back to Jeremiah 1, it says, and it came to pass also in the days of Joachim, the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah. So you see, it's jumping. All right. Now the script is jumping because between, of course, it said Jehoiakim. I had to let it be known it was Jehoahaz first before Jehoiakim. Then after Jehoiakim, it was Jehoiachin. Then it was Zedekiah. All right. So you got to understand Jeremiah was during the time of Josiah, Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah. That's 5 kings who he was prophesying to. Okay? And 4 of them didn't get it. 4 of them did not get the he was prophecy. He was like, look, get your shit together or the Lord is going to destroy you and all of Israel. And that's exactly what happened and put us into slavery. And after that, we did not regain power. After Zedekiah, it was over. So after 2 Chronicles 36, Israel did not get supreme sovereignty. Nope. It was done after that. After that, we were always in captivity. Always in captivity. Though we rebuilt the temple, though we rebuilt our walls, when you read Ezra, when you read Nehemiah, we did not get our sovereignty in a sense back. We did not get, a ruler. We just weren't it no more. The Lord was fed up with it. That's why I'm going to probably get to that chapter in these things, but I'm going to pull that up real quick in Jeremiah, the 15th chapter. And we was just done for after this. All right, Jeremiah 15:1 says, then said the Lord was fed up. Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. He didn't want nothing to do with us anymore. Okay, so it skips. So you that's where you have to do your research and understand who is between Jehoiakim and Zedekiah, or just between verses 1 and 2. That's 5 kings. Between verses 1 and 2, that's 5 kings that you have to study about. Okay, I'm not going to get in depth with it, but study about Josiah, study about Jehoahaz, study about Jehoiakim, who formerly was known as Eliakim. Okay, study about Jehoiachin, study about Zedekiah. All right, understand when Jeremiah was prophesying and who he was prophesying to, because in a lot of these chapters of Jeremiah, how it starts, it talks about you go and talk and say these things to the kings of Judah, is what it's saying. The whole book of Jeremiah is him prophesying during this time between 640 to 586 BC to the kings of Judah. Okay, it says unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah. Exactly. All right, because it gives it away right there. To the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah. That means Zedekiah ruled for 11 years. And let's prove that point. Okay, let's go to 2 Chronicles. Stay in this chapter 36. And let's go to verse 11. All right, so Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. You see, until the end. Okay, until the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Okay, the word of the Lord, the Spirit was on Jeremiah from the beginning to the end. Okay, from when Josiah, the righteous king, came all the way to the last wicked king, and when Jerusalem was taken away, he prophesied to the end. That's what we are to do too. So this is showing also a characteristic of Jeremiah, his fortitude, all right, and his endurance in this truth, okay, because the truth was there then too, just like it is now, okay, all right. So he prophesied during that time, and I'm gonna go ahead and get that mention of his name in here. It says, verse 12, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, his power, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah, the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord. Now, really, you could take this particular verse right here, and hey, since I'm mentioning it, I might do it after I do Jeremiah, the first chapter. And you could go to Jeremiah 25. Okay? You can go to Jeremiah 25. And again, you see Jehoiakim mentioned here. I think Zedekiah, if I'm not mistaken, is mentioned. May or may not. I'm not too sure. But pretty much, no, I don't think he is. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, so in this, he was speaking directly to Jehoiakim, which Jehoiakim's reign started in about 609 BC, okay, because that's when the change of power came from the Egyptians and the Assyrians now to the Babylonians and the Chaldeans, because they were the Egyptians and the Assyrians especially, were completely wiped off the map. No more. In the battle of what was that? Nebuchadnezzar II. In the battle of Carchemish. In the battle of Carchemish. Go look that up. All right, because you had the battle of Megiddo, which was between Josiah and Pharaoh Necho, and then after that was the battle of Carchemish during 605 BC, which the Babylonians utterly obliterated the Egyptians and the Assyrians, because the Egyptians and Assyrians linked up with one another to go fight this new found big superpower, and it didn't go well for them because it was their end. It was they're done. They're done. You had your time to rule. Now it's time for the Babylonians to come. You got to go into Daniel, the second chapter. Okay, so that's Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 3. I hope it was understanding. I hope it's a good foundation to understand when Jeremiah started, who he was, where he's from, what city he's from, what tribe he's from, the time period he prophesied in, and who he was prophesying to. So with that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 140 for first fruit. Until the next time, we'll say shalom, and like always, repent, for Yahweh Shai is coming back sooner than what me and you believed. All right, shalom.